Hey guys, welcome to my latest video. Today we're going to be covering Fallout 76 patch notes. I'm going to start off with patch number 4, and then we're going to go to patch number 5. Okay, a lot of big changes that we're going to discuss, so let's get right into it. Patch number 4. Okay, so this has a lot of big changes, a lot of good changes, some not so good changes, but for the most part, I agree with a lot of these changes. They're fixing a lot of glitches. They're making the game overall better, in my opinion. So let's jump right into this. We're going to start off with general power armor. The power armor light has been made brighter. Good change. Performance. Several improvements have been made to the in-game performance. It's always good. Stability. The Fallout 76 game client and servers have received additional stability improvements. They are constantly making this game better. Yes, it was kind of shitty when it came out, but it's getting a lot better. Balance changes. Charging barrels mod. Increase the Gatling laser's damage bonus from the charging barrels mod. If you use Gatling lasers, that's a good change. Glowing ones. Here's a big one. Glowing ones will no longer grant enormous large amounts of XP. Developers note. Glowing ones were granting large bonus XP rewards, making them highly exploitable when combined with nuke zones. So, perfect example is people like to nuke White Springs. Why? Because it spawns tons of these glowing ones, the ghouls that actually glow. Before this patch, it was a ridiculous amount of XP, like 600 to 800 XP per kill. So you nuke that zone, you gather up all the ghouls, you could be leveling 3 or 4 times, 5 times within an hour. I remember it was insane. And what I used to like to do was throw a grenade into the group of them, and then you basically get a hit on every single one, because you have to get a hit on it before it dies, to get the XP. And with everyone running around with the explosive weapons, they die so fast, you don't get the hits. So it's always good to throw a grenade, get all the hits, so when everything dies, you soak up all that XP. But those glowing ones will no longer grant that much XP. So in other words, now they only do around 150 XP per kill instead of like 600. They're calling it an exploit. I don't know. Call it what you will. I think it sucks. It's not a good change. Anyway, let's move on. Crafting. Lower chances of power generators of spawning fusion cores. So when you're wandering around the wasteland and you come across a power generator, there's less chances of a fusion core being in there. That's another shitty change. I mean, we need fusion cores. Why would they do that? I don't know. Crafting. Set minimum component cost of workshop building requiring steel, wood, or plastic to 2. Okay. Bobby pins. Reduce the weight of bobby pins from 0.1 to 0.001. Great change. Those bobby pins way too much. Social. Teams. Players now receive a notification that players cannot form teams from within Vault 76 if an invite is sent to a friend still inside Vault 76. Systems. PvP. Opening player-owned locked containers will now be considered a PvP action, as expected. I'm surprised it wasn't before. Anyway, now we're getting into bug fixes, a lot of stability and performance improvements overall. They're trying to fix the freezing, the blue screens, a lot of crashing fixes. That's what most of this patch is. But we're going to go over what I think are the major points here. Alright, so now we're going to move on to arts and graphics. This is a big one. Animations. Lever action rifle now only reloads the correct number of ammo. Okay, anybody who uses lever action rifles knows what I'm talking about here. When you have about 5 or 6 rounds, I think it's 5. So when you let's say you shoot 3 times, right? Or let's use 2. You shoot 2 times. When you go to reload, it would show the animation of always 5. They changed it so now you actually only reload what you used, the 2, which is a great change. You shouldn't have. If you only need 2 more rounds in your magazine, you shouldn't have to, do 5. So that's a great change for people who use lever action rifles. Okay, let's move on. A lot of this stuff I'm not going to talk about because it's, you know, small changes that not really worth talking about. So we're going to go move on to the big ones here. Okay? Hardened crafting. Hardened mass will no longer be scrapped when scrap all junk is selected. That's a good thing because sometimes you want to keep those hardened masses. You don't, when you scrap all your junk, you don't want that hardened mass to be a part of it. So that's a good change. Ooh, here's a big one. Overall repair costs have been lowered for both weapons and armor. That's a good one. Ballistic fiber is also now required for repairing armor at level 25 and above instead of previously at level 20. They did a bunch of fixes to workshops, fixed issues where enemies at some workshop locations would spawn underground, making the workshop unclaimable. And some other workshop fixes, which I think is great because that's happened to me before, and it's really annoying when you have a ghoul or something, you know, underneath the workshop and it's not working right or it's glitched out and you can't kill it. So that's a great change. Let's move on. They did some changes to the challenges, daily challenges, weekly challenges. Enemies. Fixed an issue that would cause robots to respawn too frequently in White Springs. This was a big one. I remember seeing before this update like thousands of robots, and I'm like, why are there so many robots? Apparently they were spawning, they kept spawning when they weren't supposed to. So that's a good change. Let's see, weapons. Fix an issue that would sometimes cause plasma weapons, flamers, and flamer mods and weapons with explosive bullet mods to not damage other players and creatures. That's a good fix. If you're using explosive ammo, it's supposed to hit everything within that area, so. Oh, here's a big one. I like this. This is a good change. Weapons. Legendary hunting rifles will now drop as loot. Okay? So anybody who plays Fallout 76 a lot will probably notice that there are no legendary hunting rifles. And that sucks, because hunting rifles are great. A lot of people like to play like that, you know, with your sneaking attack damage play style with hunting rifles, sniper rifles, etc. The fact that you couldn't have a legendary sniper rifle was pretty stupid in my opinion. So now we will have legendary hunting rifles and sniping rifles. 1-star legendary, 2-star legendary, 3-star legendary hunting rifles. Fucking awesome. Shit, I don't know if I'm supposed to curse. Anyway, moving on. The vampire weapon mod now works only when hitting living targets as intended. This is a change that they picked up on. I actually used this glitch a lot. I had a vampire axe that I could just swing in the air, just walking around swinging my axe, and my health would regenerate. So now they fixed that. You actually have to hit a living organism in order to get the vampiric modification to go off and increase your health. Okay, so let's move on. Fusion cores, here's a big one. Fusion cores will no longer replenish to full charge upon joining another world. This is a glitch that a lot of people did. Your fusion core is running out, you don't have any more, it sucks, right? So you just leave the world, relog, join another world, and your fusion core is full. That is no longer the case. You can't do that anymore. They changed it. So they're picking up on a lot of these glitches and they're fixing them. Some of them are good fixes and some of them are not. Alright, so let's move on. That's pretty much it for patch number 4. The big one now that we're going to discuss is patch number 5. And that it has a very controversial, huge change to the game. Okay, so let's do it. Let's move on to patch number 5. Perk number 5, balance changes. The damage bonus provided by each rank of the Demolition Expert perk has been reduced from 100% at rank 5 to 60% to match other weapon perk damage bonuses. Demolition Expert is getting nerfed big time. Explosive weapons are getting nerfed big time in this patch. Let's keep it moving. Perks. Developers know, and looking into Demolition Expert, we felt that they have so far been overperforming in their current roles that we wanted to bring them more in line with similar perks to help prevent them from being feeling like a mandatory pick. Weapons. The explosive legendary mod's damage bonus has been reduced from 100% to 20% of base weapon damage with explosive radius damage. Okay, so explosive legendary mods, in other words, explosive ammo for the legendary weapons, are getting nerfed big time. Okay? And on top of that, weapons, the 2-shot legendary effects damage bonus has been reduced from 100% to 25% of base weapon damage. Here's the developer's note on the situation. As mentioned in a previous Inside the Vault article, both the explosive mod and the 2-shot weapons could result in dealing very high amounts of damage, and this was compounded if the 2-shot and explosive were combined. We've decided to tone both of these damages bonuses back. Okay, so what do I have to say about this change? Here's my opinion, and I'll be honest with you guys. Yes, I agree that explosive weapons were overpowered, okay? When you have level 25, 30s running around with an explosive weapon, pretty much one-shotting anything in the game, it seems kind of broken. I mean, you know, it's a game supposed to be somewhat challenging. It's not really supposed to be like that, in my opinion. Now, saying that, did I feel like it should have been nerfed that badly? No. Okay, you didn't have to completely destroy explosive weapons. You know, 50%, not 75%, 40% nerf. That would have been okay. What's with this gigantic nerf? And then on top of it, it's the 2-shot too. If anything, leave 2-shot strong. You know what I mean? Leave 2-shot still strong and nerf explosive a little bit. You know, because personally I like 2-shot. So that's what happened, and it's a big change. You know, you're not going to have these thousands and thousands of damage. Like, for instance, my lever action rifle with the build that I had was doing 985 damage. After the patch I logged in and it was doing like 175. Like, come on, really? Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please hit like if you enjoyed it, if you learned anything, and subscribe to my channel. I will be coming out with more content. Take care.